So, Mara, let me ask you again, having had your background and now getting involved in intuitive counseling, what would you say has been the biggest challenge you have had to face? And how did you overcome it? What steps did you take to be able to overcome that challenge?
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge I've had this lifetime, and I'm still on a journey, is believing in myself. And sometimes that sixth sense, one of those perceptions, is often right on. And, sometimes that doubt, or I'll have an inspiration to do something, and then my head gets in the way and I start talking myself out of it, like, oh, well, I don't know whether I can do that, and I don't know that, all that kind of stuff. So it's like knowing that I came with all the resources I need to be successful. And if I get an inspiration, then I can put it into action. And maybe there can be improvements. And if I do it again, I may do it a little differently, but not to be my own biggest obstacle.
Okay, well, that's very helpful because I think we all can profit from that wisdom. So let me ask you this. How have you changed? I mean, has this course that you've taken through Weishower College, through your experiences and down through the years, ever since you got all your degrees, how has this changed you?
Well, right off the bat, when I heard the orientation lecture in 1974, within a year or so after that, not only did I realize that throughout my life up to that point, I had been doing threads of my life purpose, I just didn't realize it. So then I felt better about what I'd accomplished up to that point in my life. And I had clear direction moving forward so I could take training and put into action more things that would forward my life purpose. So that was really important to me. And within a year or so, I changed careers, moved to a different part of the country, doubled my income, and got married, which I really had no plan on doing. So that's how I got started. And then it's just grown. It's helped me to see tendencies and habit patterns that I have that don't work for me. It's vastly improved my communication with other people, because now I realize that, when I work, well, let me give you an example. I had a manager one time who I'm sure major perception was prophecy, and he could see my potential, and he would dump some of his work on me, and without anything, and he'd say, just do it, and I'm like totally freaked. But as I was able to do it, and then he would say, well, do this, this, and this to make it better or whatever, it's like it really built my confidence in my abilities and helped me to see abilities I didn't have. I had another manager in another job that was highly visual, and all our projects and everything were on these graphs and charts all around the walls of her office. And we'd go in there and have our meetings, and she'd make sure that we had the big picture of what our unit was supposed to be doing and how each one of us fit into that. So it was so clear. But if I wanted or needed anything from her, I had to give her a chart, a note, something she could see, because if not, it went in one ear and out the other, and it never happened. And then I had another manager who was an intuitive, and it was sort of like Dragnet. It's like the facts, just the facts, So when I went in to work with him, I needed to give him the what, when, where, why, and be really concise about it. And if he wanted anything else, he'd let me know, and if not, get out. So, and then I've worked with people who are feeling. That's my main perception. And so it's really easy for me to work with those kind of folks, because they're one of my fortes has been in some of my jobs is to write training, and just that step-by-step process. I'm really good with processes and stuff. And so, a lot of details. I'm the spreadsheet lady, all those details and things. It's really easy for me to organize and coordinate with them. So it's easy, with a feeler, I need to give them more details. I need to give them the feeling that things are going well. People who work high in feeling want to know that what they're doing is benefiting someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really helped. It helped my communication with my parents, which was not good at all. So it's really helped me to be just a better person with everyone I meet, whether I ever see them again, just people on the street.
Well, Mara, when you're talking about this, it seems to me when you say that you've come in contact with different employers or different people that have different, I'll call them attributes. One's visual, one is, I don't know, not philosophical, prophetic, can sort of see your potential and all of that. You are able to accommodate. The beauty of what you're sharing, at least that I'm perceiving, is that you're able to accommodate to the different variances within how people come at the world. It's reminding me of a particular training, because you did mention training. There's a training that comes under the Mahanji organizations called Success Empowered, with a capital M, powered, Success Empowered. And it is a training really that I think is very worthwhile to talk about the different personalities of your team workers, so that you can understand how do they come at the world, how can you accommodate them, and how can you use their strengths. So I think that's really fascinating what you're bringing up, because we are not the same. We are just not the same. We're really designed very differently, and we're oriented differently. And part of it is, if we understand how people are and the differences in people, we can then speak their language, so to speak. And meet them where they need to be met, so that they can learn, and so we can have, as you said, a positive conversation and a positive relationship. So, Mara, let me ask you, there are young people who might be listening to this audio, this podcast, as well as other people watching the podcast, who have gifts, they have skills, they have talents, they come into this world, but what would you say, what words of wisdom would you like to share with them to be able to help them in their process and in their growing?
Well, when we were talking about energy, we got off somewhere else, and each one of us is a unique pattern of energy. Even if you're a twin, your experiences will be slightly different from your twin's experiences. So each of us is unique. And we all have strengths, some of which we need to discover. And we all have tendencies that we need to heal. And so for those young people, to me, the future is incredible, because we're at a time, as you've mentioned, where more people are open to this magic world of energy, which is really the focus of our life here on planet Earth. And there's much more a spirit of love, because each relationship, to be balanced, is a 50-50. And when we can create that give and take in a relationship, it really moves whatever the purpose of that relationship is forward. So we didn't quite get through all the principles, but we each have a purpose for being here. And we come with all the resources we need to accomplish that purpose. So for those young people, I hope they embrace the idea that, happiness, abundance, and success are already theirs. All they have to do is to claim it. They have everything they need to claim that.
Oh, that's beautiful, Mara. That is just beautiful. I want to thank you so much for being with us today. I think we're learning a lot about a field that many of us are not that familiar with. So you're sort of turning the key and raising the bar of our consciousness, and really appreciate that. We live in a very busy society and often run after things that we think are going to make us happy. But maybe the truth is what my new LinkedIn friend, Chien, shared with me earlier today, which is, and this is a quote from him, the more we look for happiness, the more we lose sight of what we have. And you just shared that, that the young people already have so much. They just have to look within and be able to tap and know who they really are. So it seems that your work, Mara, is helping people to find their positive attributes within, and also their gifts and skills to empower them to have a happier and more contented life. So question to you, Mara, I know you said we didn't go through all those key concepts, but I'm really wondering, do you have any last words you would like to share, or do you have any extra information you would like to share with people? And then afterwards, we'll talk about how people can contact you.
Well, I want people to know that, and in some of the major religions, this is talked about. We each have a team of helpers, masters, some people call them, other people call them angels, and they're backing us. And we can learn to have a two-way communication with them, because they're here to back us to accomplish our life purpose. That's their main goal. They can help us, as we talked about before, know what's me and what's not me. And they can impart the wisdom of the universe to us if we're open and want to work with them. They can also back us with our energy when our goals and our direction is clear and we follow through, because that's really important. They work with us when we follow through with what we say we're going to do. The other thing is, each person is free. And if I don't feel free, it's because I've set limitations on myself. So the other thing that I would want young people or anybody to know, that, you are free, and embrace that freedom and learn to throw off the shackles that you put on yourself and be the incredible person that you were meant to be.
Yeah, Mara, I think your words of wisdom are so important. We're so affected sometimes by what other people think, especially young people, in junior high and high school. And sometimes our friends and other people we know are not really kind to us, at least at that age. So I think it's very important, as you said earlier, to trust yourself and to look within. And one of the things I think that is helpful for people to know is that in order to tap into that part of us that some people call the higher self, sometimes it's important to sit in the silence. Don't you think silence helps?
Yeah, because when I get still within, then not only can I tune in to that inner peace that I am, but it's easier to listen to my helpers through that gift of intuition. And the other thing is, I think it's helpful, especially for young people with all this social media and stuff. I have my opinion of a situation or myself. Someone else has their opinion, which may be very negative, but then I can have my opinion of their opinion. And so for me, that gives me a little bit of detachment. There's probably a grain of truth in what they've said, but I don't have to take all that negativity on. So what part of that is truth for me, and how can I be different?
There is the spiritual master that I mentioned when we first began this podcast session, who is Meher Baba. And he says, we're all looking at the world through our own colored lenses. And if we can understand that, then we can maybe understand that people have their own perspectives, but so do we. And we don't have to be intimidated by other people's perspectives. And we have to be able to trust that we, as you call, we have an opinion also. And I would just say another word for the opinion is a perspective, the way we look at life. So again, I want to thank you, Mara, for sharing the information that you did today. And I think there may be people who might want to get in touch with you. So I'm thinking that they could maybe go to your website. And I believe your website is called inspiringbelief.net. Is that right?
It is.
Okay,
yes.
Wonderful. And I believe that you're still building your site. Is that correct? And maybe in a short, but you do have consultations on there, I saw, and some other information. So if they go to the top right lines that are there, with 3 horizontal lines, you're able to see that there are other parts of the website that are active. And if people want to contact you, Mara, it's Mara, and Mara is spelled MARA at inspiringbelief.net. And do you want to share your telephone number, or would you prefer them to get that information off the website?
No, I'm happy to share my number. My cell phone is 703-395-6097. So you can text or call. And there will be events posted on my website that you can participate in. And I'd love to meet you and we can inspire each other on our journey.
Thank you so much, Mara. Really appreciate you taking time to talk to us today. This has been very enlightening, and I'm sure you've shared a lot of new information that people are not familiar with, but maybe need to reflect upon and think about. And we certainly will put all the information you just shared on our credits following this interview. So for those people who are interested in learning more, please go to Mara's website and go to the events that I just mentioned, and click on the events and look for the follow-up that Mara is going to provide. It should be very interesting, especially if you enjoy a lot of the different concepts and thoughts that she shared with us today. So in closing, I want to share with everybody that this seems like a new humanity is coming. So may each of you be empowered to be a change agent. Be who you are and shine your light to brighten this world of ours. So be instruments of peace and love and harmony, and together we can change the world. So let's do it, folks. Be bright and shine your light. Thank you.